Good morning, students. How are you all? I would like to welcome you all to Seth Ranglal Kothari Government PG College, Rajsamand. Also, I congratulate you and felicitate you with best wishes for your decision of opting for English literature in BA first year. In my previous video, I have already discussed the syllabus of BA first year English literature. There are two papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is grammar, drama and poetry, and paper 2 is prose and fiction. So in paper 1, in unit B, there are two poems prescribed on your syllabus. When to the sessions and Like as the Waves. These are two sonnets by William Shakespeare. So, before anything else, let's first read the text of When to the Sessions. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear times waste. Then can I drown an eye, unused to flow, for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances forgone, and heavily from woe to woe tell over the sad account of fore-bemoaned moan, which I new pay as if note paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. Now look at some of the terms and words used by Shakespeare here. Sessions. Sessions is a word which means a meeting or period for an activity, formal meeting of courts of law. And summon here means a command issued by a court to someone to appear before it. Remembrance means memory. We think about old things. Sought means here to seek, means somebody wants something. To try to gain, acquire. Woes mean express grief, distress means your when you are in tension or depression, some sort of anxiety, that is called woe, and its plural is woes. Wail means lamenting, crying for something, means you want something but you do not get it, so at that time you wail for that. Or it is wail also means complaint, means to make some complaint. Times waste here mean the wasted lost time of past. Which to the poet means the poet here expresses the thought that the precious time, the time of past, when he was with his friends, when he was with his beloved, that time is regarded as dear by the poet. But it may also mean that time's waste may also mean that things which are destroyed by time. Drown and I mean feel deeply sad and cry. Drown and I means crying for something, crying for your dead friends, old friends or lost friends, crying for them. And unused means not used to, not in the habit of, means you are not in the habit of doing some particular work, so you are unused to it. Flow, it again is also used in the sense of cry. Death's dateless night. Death is like a never ending dark night. It means that when a person dies, he never comes back to the world. He goes away permanently. So he is metaphorically, it means that that person is lost forever. Uh, he is permanently sleeping in a night which will never end. Weep afresh, to cry again. When someone near or dear one dies, we cry for them. We cry over their deaths. But after some time, when we again remember them, their memories come floating in our mind, we again cry. So crying again, the act of crying again means weep afresh, is meant by weep afresh. Love's long since cancelled woe. It means when a person loves somebody and that person is lost, or that person, there is a separation between the two people, and they are separated from each other. So that period of separation is painful. It is very difficult. We become sad. We are surrounded by anxiety and depression. But time is a great healer. Slowly and gradually, we recover from that loss, we recover from that anxiety of separation. So, this is what is meant by this phrase, love's long since cancelled woe. The poet here says that uh, the poet here says that the love, the beloved, from whom he was separated long ago, and the pain of separation, or the pain of failure of love, which again encircles the poet, comes again to the poet, that pain, that anxiety. So that is what is meant by this phrase, love's long since cancelled woe. Cancelled here in the sense of separation, of failure of love. An old sad memory about one's failure in love, which no longer distresses that person. When we recover from that failure, from that separation or the moments of that separation no longer distress us. But if we again mourn about them, if we again lament about them, it means that you are refreshing your old memories. Moan here means lamentation, complaint, groan, murmur, lamenting, making complaint. Expense is a financial term. Cost, expenditure, charge, outlay means the amount we spend on things, that is our expense. In fact, the whole sonnet has been written in financial terms, as you might have noticed while reading the text. Vanished sight means vanished, disappeared, which is no longer visible. Grievance foregone, grief, pain already suffered. That grief, that pain which you have already suffered, you have already gone through. For bemoaned moan means almost the same thing. It means already expressed grief, complaint. New pay here means to pay again, making a payment again. Restored, things which come back to you, giving back, returning. Now, Let's talk about the poet William Shakespeare. He was born probably in 1563 or 1564, and he died in 1616. He was an Elizabethan poet and dramatist. Now, what does the term Elizabethan here mean? Elizabethan here mean in the reign of, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I of England. Queen Elizabeth I ascended the throne of England in 1558 and she died in 1603, and William Shakespeare as a poet and dramatist was active during that period. This is what is meant by the term Elizabethan. Elizabethan age 1558 to 1603, and William Shakespeare is considered among the greatest of English dramatists and poets. He wrote about 37 plays and 154 sonnets. And now the question arises, what is a sonnet? A sonnet is a short poem of 14 lines. Shakespearean or English sonnet is divided into 3 quatrains. Quatrain here means, by quatrain we mean a stanza of 4 lines. And a Shakespearean or English sonnet is divided into 3 quatrains and a couplet. Couplet means a stanza, a small stanza of 2 lines. In Hindi, we call them dohe, something of that sort. Now, when to the sessions, it is sonnet number 30 from William Shakespeare's 154 sonnets. It was published in the 1609 quarto. First of all, means it was published at that date. On that date, Shakespeare's sonnets are said to be dedicated to a fair youth. Youth here means a young man, fair youth, and a dark lady. This is what is traditionally said about his sonnets. This sonnet is dedicated to the fair youth who in some other Shakespearean sonnets is described as a good-looking gentleman. In sonnet after sonnet, Shakespeare praises the beauty of that youth. The beauty here does not only mean external beauty, the beauty of somebody's face or somebody's body, but beauty here means internal beauty, the beauty of somebody's heart, the beauty of somebody's feelings, nature. And Shakespeare praises that gentleman, that young gentleman. Shakespeare dedicated his 2 other narrative poems, Venus and Adonis and the Rape of Lucrece, to Henry Wriothesley. Henry Wriothesley was the 3rd Earl of Southampton. Southampton is a place in England, and Earl here means some big official, almost an in charge of that place. So Henry Wriothesley during Shakespeare's time was the 3rd Earl of Southampton. And it is most probably Henry Wriothesley, the 3rd Earl of Southampton, who is the fair youth in Shakespeare's sonnets. What I mean to say is that it is said that Shakespeare dedicated his sonnets to Henry Wriothesley, the 3rd Earl of Southampton, and who is said to be the fair youth in his sonnets. He might be William Shakespeare's patron. There's a word in English, patron, P-A-T-R-O-N, patron. Patron means a person who patronizes somebody, who gives financial aid, who gives social aid, social help, financial help to some artist, for his development, for his or her development. So Henry Wriothesley might be William Shakespeare's patron, and the 1609 volume of Shakespeare's sonnets is also dedicated to a Mr. W.H. by the publisher. Now, W.H. might mean many persons. Many Shakespearean scholars discuss over the identity of Mr. W.H. But the most closest one is said to be of that Henry Wriothesley. Now, in this sonnet, William Shakespeare talks about remembering past losses. He is in a reflective mood, mood when he is free. He says that when I'm free, when I reflect over my past losses, my old memories, I think about my old friends who are now dead, who are no longer alive. So this sonnet is about remembering past losses. It is about grieving over failures and shortcomings. It is about friends and lost and lovers lost. It is about friendship and love. So this poem celebrates the idea of friendship. This sonnet celebrates the idea of love. This sonnet mediates between time, memory, and relationships and their mortality. Time, as we all know, is a great healer. Time heals, but time is also, we can say, a kind of phenomenon which is too fleeting, and if our bad times pass away gradually, then it is also our good moments, it is also our happy moments which also are lost in the course of time. So time, memory, relationships, and their mortality. Mortality means things which are fragile, which are short-lived. All humans are mortal. We are born and we will die one day. So we have a fixed age limit. Likewise, almost all things have their age. All animals, all birds, human beings, and even non-living things can be used only up to a certain period of time, after which they expire. And so time is a great source of healing, but it is also a reflection of past. And memory is an agency, a record keeper of past. Memory is a kind of phenomenon which keeps the record of our past deeds, our past actions, our memories, our good moments, and even our bad time, or even our moments of embarrassment. So these are the four terms which should be noted down for understanding the sonnet: time, memory, relationships, and their mortality. It is about these things that Shakespeare talks about in the sonnet. And Shakespeare talks about disappointments, sorrows, grievances, and regrets of human life, which are galore in human life. There are too many disappointments, sorrows, grievances, and regrets in human life. But Shakespeare says in the couplet, in the last two lines, he says that friendship prevails and wins over all other things. Friendship, it is good friendship, which helps a human being come over his bad times and come over his sorrows, griefs, and bad moments. So the idea of friendship has been celebrated in this sonnet. So friendship prevails and wins over all other things, and metaphorical language has been used in this sonnet from court of law and finance. The almost all terms are used in this sonnet. So let's read the poem once again and let's talk about a little bit. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear times waste. The poet here says that when in a reflective mood, I think about my old times, my past memories. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought. I sigh, I complain, I bemoan those things which at one time I wanted, but I did not get and I couldn't get them. I sigh their lack. I sigh, I complain that I do not have those things which at one time I wanted. And it is but too human to think about things in these terms. But the poet here says, with old woes new wail my dear times waste. Old woes, my old griefs, my old moments of pain, my difficult times, and my new failures, the failures which every human being comes across every day. The poet here says that I wail about them. I become sad about those things. The old things which I did not get, which I wanted, and also my new failures. And the poet also says that I also miss my dear time, my good time, my old moments, my past, when I was very young, when I had many friends who were alive and who were so good to me, and I spent good time with them. So the poet here talks about the loss of that dear time, that good time. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. The poet here says that although I'm not used to crying, I can control my tears. I can control my tears. I'm not used to crying. But when I think about my old friends, when I think about my old love, I begin crying. I can cry. Because it is too human. It is human for somebody to cry about lost relationships. For precious friends hid in death's dateless night, the poet here says that my precious friends, my good friends, many of them have died, and they have been devoured by death. They will never come back. They are permanently sleeping in a night which will never come to a closure. And weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe.